From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us here on the first Monday of the new year. Good evening to you at 11. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. We are watching the radar tonight as a wintry mix moves toward central Indiana.
WRTV Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is helping you prepare for what could be a slick morning drive. Kevin.
And we'll talk about a few things, Mark, that work in our favor. First, this is very light precipitation. The second will be temperatures that will be right at freezing, maybe just a little bit below. It's at 32 in Kokomo now, 39 as you can see in Bloomington. Indy sits at 34 degrees. Patchy fog may be there for a while overnight into the morning. Rain changing to some very light snow or snow showers. Again, those temperatures around freezing could lead to some slick spots. This will have minor impact in western Indiana, a little better impact, maybe half an inch of snow in the eastern portion of the state. There we are at 3 a.m. and there's 5 a.m. to 7. So that picks up a little more intensity. Muncie down to Newcastle and Greensburg east toward Richmond. But even there, you're looking at half an inch of snow or less. We'll talk about the rest of your Tuesday and the week ahead, all coming up. Mark?
Kevin, thank you. New at 11, a tricky intersection on the northwest side of Indianapolis has been causing issues for years. That's according to people who live nearby and a woman who was hurt in a rear-end collision 2 days before Christmas. WRTV's Cameron Riddle is getting answers tonight.
I've had a headache ever since the accident. My doctor said he now thinks I might have a concussion.
Headaches, a swollen knee, and aching back are just some of the lingering injuries to her body, and $2,800 in damage is what happened to Barbara Moulton's SUV when she was rear-ended on Guyan Road on Indy's northwest side.
The gentleman who hit me was traveling at a higher rate of speed than he should have been on slick roads and not paying attention.
Moulton was traveling north on Guyan when she stopped to let a semi swing a wide turn from Industrial Boulevard across the train tracks when she was hit. The railroad tracks and sharp curve create obstacles at the intersection, which neighbors say is home to more accidents than they can count.
We have multiple accidents, at least 2 a week, of people that just drive off the road.
Over the years, the front yard of Chris Davis's house has become a graveyard for car parts, with everything from bumpers to mufflers to side panels at some point has ended up here.
There's no brakes action. I think people just don't know there's a curve in the road. We're always amazed there are that many people new to this road that they don't know it, but seems to be no brakes until they go flying into the train tracks.
Indianapolis DPW tells WRTV that in the past 3 years, 15 collisions have occurred at the intersection, which the city says is a relatively low number. Neighbors, of course, will tell you that doesn't account for the crashes and slide-offs that don't get reported to police. DPW says because there are no visual obstructions to warning signs that have already been placed along the road, the traffic engineers are not recommending changes at this time. They say rear-end crashes like the one that banged up Moulton and her car are more often caused by drivers not paying attention. Moulton still hopes the city can add something to make drivers look out for what's up ahead.
I don't care if they put a flashing light back there in the grass that just flashes and says, okay, you need to pay attention.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
It's unclear if you will be able to cheer for your favorite team from the stands if they make the men's NCAA basketball tournament. But whether fans are allowed or not, we know that all March Madness games will be played in the Hoosier State. Today, the NCAA announced that the entire 2021 men's basketball tournament will be held at several sites in central Indiana. The locations are Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, and in Indianapolis, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, and Lucas Oil Stadium. I asked Kim Donahue, a sports marketing expert with IUPUI, what kind of tourism strategy she expects with the pandemic limiting normal options.
I expect to see that we use our biggest weapon, and our biggest weapon is Hoosier hospitality. And that sounds so canned and it sounds so trite, But if you go back to the reviews that we received nationally from the Super Bowl in 2012, it was the volunteers that just got the rave reviews, and it was how welcoming the average person was that they encountered. And I think that's what sets us apart. So if we can still use volunteers in a way that is safe, I think that will really kind of set a model for the rest of the country.
The tournament will bring roughly $100 million into the economy, according to early estimates. Donahue says if crowd restrictions are still in place, downtown businesses will probably not get a big boost in profits, but the long-term impact is immeasurable.
What people think about is all these student athletes that are coming to Indianapolis and are going to be here in our bubble. Most of those are not going to go pro. The vast majority of these student athletes are going to go on and be leaders in their profession of choice. And here they're going to have hopefully the best experience possible. And they're going to take that forward into their careers and use that as a recommendation in their future businesses as well.
We will continue to follow how the tournament will operate as new details are released. For more insight and reaction to today's announcement, click on this story on the WRTV app.
Some students in Marion County returned to in-person classes this morning. A health department order requiring all schools in Marion County to learn remotely ended today, but most districts are choosing to remain virtual for the coming weeks. That includes Wayne Township, which plans to move to in-person learning on January 20th, and Decatur Township plans to move to a hybrid schedule next week before fully returning to the classroom. The superintendent says parents have been supportive throughout this new normal.
Let's take the steps that we can control. That's the social distancing, the hand washing. If the vaccine becomes available, looking at that variable. But as far as really working with our community, and our parents have been tremendous.
To see how each Marion County school will begin their spring semester, go to the WRTV mobile app.
COVID-19 hospitalizations are starting to rise across the state. The number of patients was at 2,836 people as of yesterday. Hospitals in central Indiana are preparing for a potential post-holiday surge in COVID patients. Leaders at Franciscan Health are taking action in ways they say are within their control. Last week, the governor lifted an executive order that paused non-emergency surgeries. However, Franciscan is continuing the restriction, halting elective surgeries for the next 2 weeks in case there is an influx of COVID patients. But leaders say that will still be a challenge.
We're still experiencing record high numbers of COVID inpatients. We've been up in the 100 and teens here at the Indy campus for off and on for the last couple weeks.
Normally, Franciscan would accept transfers from other hospitals. Right now, that is very limited. And we expect to learn more about this week about Indiana's COVID-19 vaccine distribution plan. So far, healthcare workers, residents of long-term care facilities, and first responders are the only groups that can register to get vaccinated. We spoke with an Ascension St. Vincent OBGYN who says she's heard from many pregnant healthcare workers wondering about how safe the vaccine is for them. Pregnant women were not included in the clinical trials for the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines, but she's hopeful they will be just as effective.
We have a lot of reasons to suspect that the design of the mRNA vaccine with these COVID-19 vaccines we're looking at are going to have the same efficacy in our pregnant women. We're really hopeful it's going to have that same benefit for the fetus as well, but unfortunately, only time will tell whether that pans out.
Dr. Rasbeck says pregnant women should consider their risk factors and potential for exposure with their doctors when deciding whether to get vaccinated.
In a push to fix past wrongs, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office is working on creating a conviction integrity unit, as it's called. Beginning this year, it will take a closer look at cases prosecuted in Marion County that may have ended with incorrect convictions. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker spoke with a man who has firsthand knowledge on how measures like this can change lives.
If I could shake his hand right now, I would.
That's Roosevelt Glenn's reaction to Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears' push to correct wrongful convictions.
To hear about a prosecutor wanting to reach out, he needs to be supported. If he wants to reach out and help people that could possibly be in prison for crimes they didn't commit,
Unfortunately, Roosevelt is qualified to talk about this issue firsthand because he was wrongfully convicted in 1993 of a brutal rape in Hammond, Indiana, spending nearly 17 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
For the system to be able to take me, as well as Mr. Pinkins, and convict us of raping a woman that we never even met, it just blew my mind.
That's from an interview WRTV did with Roosevelt back in 2016. He and his co-defendant, Daryl Pinkins, were exonerated by DNA evidence, thanks in big part to the IU McKinney School of Law's wrongful conviction unit.
Professor Watson of IU McKinney School of Law, she was continued the fight for both of us.
But Roosevelt and Pinkins both spent a combined 42 years in prison. That's not lost on him.
Now I look back at the different people that I knew in my life that told me about the system, that I always thought they was exaggerating. But now for my own self, I see this is not exaggeration. This is real life. This really happens. And now I'm a victim of this justice system.
But he's not letting that keep him down. He's written a book about the ordeal and often speaks to students who could someday fight injustices like the one he experienced.
That's why I enjoy going to different universities and speaking to law students and criminal justice students, because they're the future.
He tells me it's incredibly important for those in power, like prosecutors, to want to correct wrongful convictions.
What happened to me and many like me, it used to be just accepted, but now it's not being accepted like it used to be.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office is still working on the rollout of the Conviction Integrity Unit, but hope to have it up and running in the coming weeks. We will tell you when they begin accepting applications.
The 2021 legislative session is now underway in Indiana. Here are some of the top issues on the agenda. Some Republicans want to roll back the governor's authority under the state's emergency powers law. Governor Eric Holcomb has used the law to issue some COVID-19 restrictions. Not much additional money is expected for the budget as lawmakers work on a new 2-year spending plan. And 2020 census data will be used for redistricting. For more details, go to the WRTV app.
Community theater is a safe space for people.
You do not have to go to Broadway or even the Old National Center to see popular musicals like West Side Story, Hairspray, and Legally Blonde. New and next, how a longtime Indianapolis theater is working to bring song and dance back to the community as the pandemic continues.
Home Store. This is home.
From Broadway to Main Street, the COVID crisis pressed pause on the performing arts industry. And that's why we're putting local groups in the spotlight as they work to bring music, dance, and theater back to Central Indiana. The pandemic has taken a huge financial toll on paid performers. It's also threatening the future of volunteer organizations like Footlight Musicals Community Theater. At the corner of 19th and Alabama on the near north side of Indianapolis, people are passionate about performing. They invest hours, days, weeks, and months for free.
The only person I say that gets paid around here is the cleaning lady that we have to pay to come in.
It's a big time commitment. There's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I think people don't realize that when they hear community theater.
So why do they do it?
We're doing this genuinely because we love it.
Because I love it, and it's fun.
Because the love.
While Footlight Musicals is a labor of love, it's no amateur hour.
We're dancing, we're dancing, we're dancing, we're dancing.
Leslie Lee, the president of this all-volunteer community theater, says performers often have some formal training.
Many have realized or didn't want to go the professional route, move to New York or LA and fight with a million other people. So they work at, say, Eli Lilly, IUPUI, mom and pop grocery store, whatever, during the day. And then this is their creative outlet.
Becca Ditar is one of those people.
My day job, I'm an inpatient pharmacy technician at Community South Hospital.
Ditar still finds time to explore her artistic passions with Footlight. She says the level of talent in our community can be intimidating.
It's kind of terrifying because it's like, holy crap, that's so much talent. in one person that not only can they do this crazy artistic thing, but they also do this other job on as full time.
The theater stages classic musicals like Singin' in the Rain, Cats, and Dreamgirls.
I was Effie White in Dreamgirls, and this is my 4th show at Footlight Musicals.
By day, Rayana Bibbs teaches at Charles A. Tinley Accelerated School. By night, her schedule is full of rehearsals. Bibbs dabbles in professional work when she can. While getting paid to perform is undoubtedly beneficial, she says there's something special about community theater.
These are friendships we kind of keep over the years. It's not just like a one and done. Like with professional theater, sometimes the people that I've worked with, I don't see them again ever again.
Footlight is just now returning to the stage after a nearly 1-year layoff. And while no one lost a paycheck due to that hiatus, Ditar says it's still vital to keep community theater alive.
I think it's really awesome that we have the space, that you feel you can come out here and put yourself out there, and that people are going to appreciate it and hopefully even love it.
Lee agrees, and not just when it comes to Footlight.
There are many other small community theaters that I really worry about due to the struggles, how many will make it through, and the loss of them, it would just be absolutely horrible.
Footlight has been rehearsing an original cabaret show since November. The small cast and crew can socially distance. They planned on taping the performance and streaming it online starting this week, but a member of the show tested positive for COVID on Friday, so things are on hold again with the hopes of resuming and taping in the coming weeks. We will keep you updated on that. Meanwhile, you can learn more about Footlight musicals, including how to support the theater, by going to the WRTV app and clicking on this story. Kevin.
And Mark, we watch for some rain and snow showers now entering western Indiana, maybe some sprinkles in Hendricks County too. This is all very light, but it doesn't take a lot. My job is to make sure we're not surprised by anything, so don't be surprised to find an isolated slick spot first thing in the morning, especially in the eastern half of the state. I think what we see here in western Indiana will pick up in intensity a little bit in the eastern half of the state. Temperatures above freezing in many spots around the metro area, but down to 32 from Sullivan to Bloomington, and then north of Indy, Tipton, and Peru. This is what I'm talking about. Watch between 3 and 5. See that area blue, Muncie, Blackford or Hartford City, in Winchester, Portland, and Richmond. Maybe half an inch of snow in some spots, mixing with some rain in other areas. Temperatures, they warm up tomorrow, come above freezing, but not by a lot, about 36 for the afternoon high. We're dry in the afternoon tomorrow. Wind out of the northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Keeps our temperatures just about average for this time of the year. We're still cloudy, but dry Wednesday and Thursday, and the temperature pretty much unchanged in the upper 30s. I want to show you from tomorrow morning to Thursday night. We clear out the system overnight tonight and in the morning. Then, as you can see, we get to Thursday. Another system develops, but the storm track is well south of central Indiana and the Midwest. That'll keep the best chance for rain and any wintry precip south of the Ohio River. Wednesday temperatures start in the 20s, work their way into the upper 30s. As I mentioned, high temperatures across the region really don't change much from day to day. Still in the 30s, not only Wednesday, but Thursday temperature, 38. We'll back off just a little bit, 35 on Friday. Weekend looks dry right now with temperatures still in the mid-30s Saturday, but with a little more sunshine. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 36. We're at 37 next Monday. Indications are temperatures will be near average as we go into the middle of the month, maybe slightly above. 36 is average for this time of year. Amanda.
Thank you, Kevin. A struggling business in Bartholomew County says for the first time during the pandemic, it has hope. Randy and Robin Lapidus own the restaurant Special Dogs and More on Washington Street in Columbus. They focus on hiring people with intellectual and mental disabilities. 2020 started strong for the owners. They say February and March were two of their strongest months since opening. But after that, sales plummeted. So they applied to be part of the Barstool Fund, a foundation started last month to help small businesses across the country. Special Dogs and around 70 other businesses were picked.
For the first time since the pandemic has started, that light is no longer just a little pinhole. that light's now a lot bigger.
The business will have its rent paid for by Barstool. We'll be right back.
Rivers.com.
College basketball's COVID-19 protocols have caught up with more teams. Purdue and Ball State both having to postpone their games that were scheduled for Tuesday. Purdue was set to face Nebraska. BSU had a game against Western Michigan on the calendar. The Big Ten and MAC will announce new dates soon. IU in action on Monday night. Hoosiers at home against Maryland. The first half was a struggle. IU shot just 30% from the field. They were 0 of 9 behind the arc and down 27-21 at halftime. Trying to crawl back in it in the second. Al Durham's three-pointer capped an 8-0 burst that got Indiana within 2. Durham scored 13. Big momentum swing for IU after that. Trace Jackson Davis, the steal, the slam. Indiana put together a 28-8 run to go from 10 down to 10 up. Jackson Davis scored 22 points, added 15 rebounds. Hoosiers come up with a much-needed 63-55 win, their second straight. IU plays at 8th-ranked Wisconsin on Thursday. The Pacers with just their second away game of the season, a trip to New Orleans on Monday. They needed a 10-0 run in the final 2 minutes to tie the game. Miles Turner's three off the steal got the game tied and sent it to overtime, 106-106. They would need a final possession, though, to seal it up. Tied still, 5 seconds to go. Malcolm Brogdon drives and gets the floater to go. 118-116, a winner on the road. Pacers come up big on their first trip south.
It just shows the fight we have in this group. First and foremost, with Coach got all the fight in the world. The whole time down the stretch, with a minute left, 38 seconds left, he just telling us, it's not over, it's not over. That's all he kept screaming from the sideline. It's not over, it's not over, man. You believe that?
They're back home on Wednesday night to take on the Rockets. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports. The Colts are running into the playoffs, largely due to the Week 17 performance by rookie Jonathan Taylor. 253 rushing yards on Sunday, a franchise single-game record. Taylor outgained the Jags by himself in the first half and 2 touchdowns as part of the Colts' wild card clinching win. Taylor's best game of the season came at just the right time.
One thing that you always got to understand is, you got to be patient. That's something that, my college running back coach, Coach Settle, would always say to me. He's like, just stay patient. He's like, it's going to pop. Just stay patient. So every single game, just listen to my assignment, getting ready to execute before the play and understanding that, hey, if that one doesn't go, lock in, reset, get ready to do it on the next play because one of them will.
Colts and Bills will open the wild card weekend Saturday at 1 o'clock. It'll be the first playoff game in Buffalo since the end of the 1996 season. If the Colts win, they would get the Chiefs in the next round. Indy is a touchdown underdog to start the week. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Call Ken.
Wintry mix in the morning, rain and snow. Eastern half of the state, maybe up to half an inch of snow. Most cases less than that, but watch for slick spots. Temperatures right around the freezing mark to get started. 36 to 38 in the afternoon tomorrow. Amanda.
Be prepared when you head out the door. Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Good night.